Mr. Marty Show. Well, it's SpoOktober. Yeah, it's finally here. And we're so happy for this time of year. For all the fools you know on the Mr. Marty Show. Yes, the guys, here we go. On the Mr. Marty Show. The Mr. Marty Show. On the Mr. Marty Show. Have action on the Mr. Marty Show. There's where the spirits all go. Live action on the Mr. Marty Show.
At the end of the road, where nobody likes to go, is where you can find my haunted heart. Tattered curtains in the wind, a green glow from within. That's the place of my haunted heart. Only a brave soul would venture, fight the demons who writhe about, find the soul who languishes in chains of sadness in an evil redoubt in my haunted heart. Gargoyles on the roof, a moat of serpents, there's your proof. Trapped inside my haunted heart, a banshee cries as the floorboards creak inside. Misery in my haunted heart, memories of what could have been stalk the halls of what cannot be. The vampire is at it again, wanting to live forever. What is it with me? Stay away is what I say, unless you think that you can stay. This ghost trapped in my haunted heart. Stay away is what I say, unless you're very, very brave. There's no hope here in my haunted heart. Stay away is what I say, yet I hope you'll take me away. Release me, please, from my haunted heart.
Hello, Mr. Marty fans. Magulmore here with one of my friends who is
MJ Howley at the service.
Hello, Howling. Yes, today we're talking about tombstones. Oh yes, I've seen some funny ones. Oh yes, Merv Griffin, who did so many television shows and game shows, and he said on his tombstone, "I will not be back after these messages." Oh, what could you? Oh yes.
Well, that was Howlin', girl.
That was Howlin'. Well, what would you like on your tombstone?
What I like, MJ Howlin', where it just keeps going on and on and on.
I think that sounds great.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. And when I tell you I'm sick, you better believe it.
Oh, my
And weren't you telling me about somebody who lost a leg over here and arms and feet over there?
Yeah, Jim the Bones. Did I say
Jim the Bones!
Oh, the bones. He said you can bury me, and we did, except he had an arm in New Jersey, and another one in Connecticut, and his legs were in Sleepy Hollow. Oh, wait a minute. That was his head. Oh, that's how the head was horse.
Well, we had better get on with this show.
I'll tell you.
So we will be gooling funny from now on.
And funny.
Peace. I'll be seeing you when you least expect it.
Hello, Mr. Marty fans. Michael McScarry here, with my fellow Irishman, Jack O'Lantern. It's October now in the Midwest, and there's a little chill in the night air, although, like many Irishmen, Jack doesn't really feel the cold all that much. What's his secret, I wonder? Anyway, in the spirit of the season, I have a spooky little story I wrote that I'd like to share with you. One warning, though, we're going to tell this story over the next 4 weeks, so you may want to take notes. It'll be just like you were back in school, and you've definitely realized you've forgotten something important for this final exam. Just Returns, Episode 1, Just in Time, A New Hope. It was the beginning of May. There were 3 weeks left of school, and it was hot in Chicago. It seemed to have been getting steadily hotter all day long. Deep down inside, Justin Todd knew it was mostly psychological, but it seemed like somebody had left the fires of hell untended. He was burning up with worry and desperate anticipation. He hesitated outside the door of Miss Marr's 6th-hour senior English class. This was it. His body ached and his neck had stiffened up so much that he could barely move it. He could feel his shirt sticking to his back. As the bell began to ring, he sauntered into the room. There was a substitute. Justin felt suddenly very worried. Where was Miss Mars? More importantly, why hadn't he already been called down to the office yet? She had to have seen him. Percy and Norma Jean were the only 2 kids in their correct seats. Justin shuffled to the rear of the classroom and slid into an open seat. Sally Quaid, wearing a ratty black and silver Rush t-shirt, leaned over to Justin and whispered, "Gee, what a creepy-looking sub. Like Count Dracula, you know?" The substitute was short, thin, and graying around the temples. The black suit and tie he wore highlighted his exceptionally pale and soft-looking skin. Despite his small size, he carried himself with strength and dignity. Justin didn't like the guy's looks, and he didn't really feel up to sub-baiting, but he reacted instinctively. "Nah," he said, much too loudly. "I think he looks like an undertaker." The back of the class laughed lightly. The substitute feigned ignorance of the comment. He finished calling roll and hung the attendance slip on the hook in the hall. As he came back into the room, the door made a tight, echoing click behind him. Suddenly, the room seemed stuffy and small. Against his better judgment, Justin found himself drawn into the game. "Hey, you!" he said, waving his hand in the air. "Are you an undertaker or something?" The substitute stared him straight in the eyes. "In the future, you will address me as Sir. Is that understood, Mr. Todd?" I think that will be it for today. Tune in next week to find out if our young scholar learns his lesson. How about a little something for our audience, Jack? You got any words of wisdom? Thank you.
So my dad was a Roman Catholic priest for 16 years, and it was on west side of Chicago, and this is back in the 60s. The first church he went to was supposedly haunted. When he arrived, it was impoverished. There was a brutal murder that occurred, a beheading on the curb right down the block from his church. When he went to this church, there were unexplained noises at night. It sounded like bowling balls hitting down the stairs, dishes crashing. He had a deadbolt on the inside bedroom door in which he was staying in the rectory that would somehow unexplainably be unlocked in the morning. And when that door would be creaked open, there was this big painting outside of his door of Bishop Muldoon. Now, Muldoon was supposed to be the person who brought Catholicism to Chicago, and it ended up being Quigley because of a scandal where his name was tarnished, but by no fault of his own. This first church that my dad was assigned to as a young man in his 20s was built by Muldoon. And in this impoverished setting, he had a young man who wanted to become a priest named Tom Soulars. Tom is he's passed the last few years, but there was one occasion in which my dad was out and about and Tom was at the church, and as he was showing his family the rectory and the church, at one point they came into a room where there was an old man sitting in a sitting room, and there was a radio in the room, and Tom saw this old man and he said hi, and the old man turned and smiled and didn't say anything and just continued to sit there. And Tom was a little confused, didn't know why he was there, but he didn't ask him any questions. He continued with showing his family, and then they left. Later on, Tom says to my dad, there was an old guy sitting in here, I don't know what the deal was, but, and my dad's like, well, it's, probably some indigent person who came in and copped a squat on the couch. And that kind of passed by, but at one point Tom was walking by this painting. Now, in terms of a timeline, this painting wasn't always up in the church, but with all the noises that they would happen in the church, they ended up finding this painting in the attic, and they hung it up kind of to the people who worked and lived there thought there was a haunting going on. They couldn't keep a housekeeper, because when they would hear dishes breaking and pots and pans clanging, they would check the kitchen and nothing would have been out of place. So in this kind of makeshift effort, they hung this painting, and upon that hanging, Tom came to visit one day, and he goes to my dad, his name is Rocco. He's like, Rocco, that's the guy. And then he's like, what are you talking about? That's Bishop Muldoon. And he goes, that's the guy, that's exactly the guy. And it was just this back and forth where my dad is like, Tom, you're mistaken, it wasn't him. And he's like, don't tell me I'm mistaken, I know what I know. When I moved out to California in 2016, it was the last time I got to see Tom. My dad had died several years prior, and Tom had a couple of my dad's paintings. My dad was a painter as well, and I was picking up a couple of those paintings. And I talked to Tom, and I said to him, Tom had cancer and he didn't share it with anybody, but I could tell he was diminished. And I was just sitting and talking with him. He baptized me. I was a lifelong friend of the family. He was family. And when in this conversation, I said, Tom, and I always do this whenever you'd come to dinner for Christmas or whatever. I was like, Tom, is that, that Muldoon ghost story? I was like, because he's like the only person I knew who actually saw Muldoon. And I was like, you saw that? He goes, David, I know what I saw. I know what I saw. And I was like, and it was like one of the last interactions I had. It's like he's probably the only person who was left alive to tell the story outside of the book that our family ended up publishing called Muldoon, A True Chicago Ghost Story, Tales of a Forgotten Rectory. So growing up, we regaled our family and friends with some of these ghost stories. But if you want to check it out, it's in some libraries. It might be available on Amazon soon. Maybe one day it'll be another story manifestation.
And now, 30 seconds of...
Isn't that beautiful? And here we have one from 1893, also with a very ornate door. And here we have another one. I don't see a date, 1900 something I see up at the top, but there's too many trees. But again, some beautiful fancy doors. Here we have what seems to be a family plot. You see here the Bastos and the Pether bridges with a whole stairway leading up to a plot, big memorial statues, graves dating back to the late 1800s. Very sad. There are some little headstones that say they're for the infant children of the family. Children plural, not just one baby, but many, from those days when you were lucky. If you had 10 kids, you were probably lucky to have 5 survive infancy. A series of very old stones here. These are so weathered you can't read them. Here we have the Loomis family. Again, so weathered I can't even tell you how old this is. Whole family of Loomises here. This one's, I think, a little newer. These folks, this one's from 1872, 1901. Here we have one from 1869. Again, I can't tell you what this one's from, because there's nothing there that's readable anymore. But a lot of old graves here in this cemetery. And this is a lovely setup here where we have a memorial right here in the middle of these 2 trees. How cool is that? To the Sutliff and Lees. And it's surrounded by some very old stones from the early 1900s and late 1800s. Really, this is quite an interesting cemetery. Many of these plots are just whole families. And we have like tombstones here that say father, mother, grandmother. Modern cemeteries are not half so interesting. So, and this cemetery is surrounded by a lot of like woods and parkland and prairie, and here we have a lovely young deer just kind of munching on something. He's not the least bit bothered by us, and apparently lots of deer hang out in this cemetery and don't seem the least bit frightened by the people who come. Oh, and here we have another one of those big, like, little mortuary things, for where the people, probably the people who have money are buried. They all have these, like, really fancy doors. This one is the Schwarzensteins and the Leymans together in one mausoleum. Okay, here we have the Crandall grave. It's got these lovely gates. And look at the carving in here. We've got the dog and all these tools perhaps Mr. Crandall. Perhaps these were the tools of Mr. Crandall's trade. I'm assuming Mr. Crandall, just because. But how cool is that?
Thanks for watching the show. Thanks for watching the show. Thanks for watching the show. The Mr. Marty Show. Mr. Marty Show. The Mr. Marty Show. We hope you were afraid of the show. Hope you didn't like it at all. I hope you didn't like all the hard work. We hope you didn't like the show. So thanks for watching the show. But be sure to bring us back. No, thanks for watching the show. Happy Halloween. Help me, please. Help me. These guys are weird. Do you know who those guys are? Me neither. I just hope they don't come back. They're really scary. Good thing that me and Squid have been being saved and being safe here. Right, Squid? Yes, definitely. Be sure to be safe on Halloween night. But most important, have fun. Hey, I'm not scary. What? Wait, what? What? Squid? Who are you? Squid? Who are you? Squid? Who are you? Squid? Who are you? Who are you? You look exactly like Squid. I don't know, but I just escaped those guys, so can I just stay with you for now? I guess, but, well, okay. What's your name? My name is Octopi. Okay. Happy Halloween.